I think it's funny how the classrooms have like different, it's like hodgepodge seating, you know?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just gonna set up so it makes a little sound if people join the meeting, just so I can tell. But it's recording.
Oh, perfect.
And then I think I actually had like a link that people could join with, and I forgot about it. But I may have just accidentally kicked them out, so they may be coming back in. This is how today is going. I don't want to sign in. I have a couple slides. I hope they're saved on my Google Drive. Just give me a couple minutes. So I know there are a couple students here. I know, no, there's one student here right now. That's a lie. Do you all mind telling me what your major is? And if you're already planning on presenting at Student Scholar Day?
I'm a nursing major. I think I'm gonna present as well.
Okay.
I'm a professional health science major and I'm thinking of presenting. I'm not entirely sure yet.
Okay, cool. Well, maybe this will be what convinces you. I have to open the Google app on my phone. Have you given conference presentations before?
No.
Okay. Juan, you want to share your major and whether you're going to present?
I'm double major in psychology, for research and experiment. And I'm gonna present on this.
You are going to. Look at you.
What year are you? What year?
Freshman.
The freshman? Great. So you're in general chemistry? Oh, well, you're pre-med.
I know, I know, they really keep my stuff with my schedules.
But you're gonna do
Yeah.
Gen Chem next year?
Yeah.
Well,
Hi,
then your
Kimball.
Junior year, you'll have organic chemistry with me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, even organic chemistry.
Hi, Dr. Wag. It's so good to see you. Nice
see
to
you
be here.
too.
Thank you.
Thank
Nice
you for
to-
coming.
Oh, thank you for offering this.
Do you want to share what your major is? And
Yes.
Yeah. Go
What
ahead.
else? What else do you want me to share?
I don't think they heard you.
Okay. I'm Kimball Allen, and my major is Masters of Science Counseling Psychology. And it's a great program. That's what I'm doing at Avila right now.
It is a great program.
And I'm interested in research as well. I would love to have a conversation down the road.
Yeah.
Off topic, but
Is it? Is it off topic?
it's actually quite topical, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
And are you for sure going to present at Student Scholar Day, or are you just collecting more
I'm-
information?
I'm here to collect information. I know very little, actually.
Okay.
Is that fair?
I don't think it's an accurate representation of
That's
your
kind.
I think
Thank
know
you.
more.
Thank you. But I'm glad to be here and to learn.
Okay, so I had slides that I had prepared for you. Let me just download these. You know what? I'm pretty sure I could just use them as a slideshow from here. Okay, can you see that okay, Kimball?
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. And I'm the only one who can see you, just so you know. And this is being recorded because there may be people who are not here. Thank you for being patient with me last week. I had an illness. I tested negative for the things you can test for, but I'm not convinced. I remain unconvinced that it wasn't flu. So I'm like, you can still kind of hear it floating around in there. I won't get too close. You're like, so let me tell you a little bit about why I'm doing this. I have been at Avila since 2009. I think most years I have at least one student presenting on Student Scholar Day. I've chaired Student Scholar Day committee before. It's an event that I really believe in. I think it's really important, especially I think especially for our students in psychology who want to go into doctoral programs. Like our doctoral programs in psychology, they really expect you to come in and know like all of the academic socialization things right away. I don't know that that's the same in every discipline, but I'm guessing that there are some similarities where it's like, do you feel like, do you know how to and feel comfortable going to a conference, presenting your work, talking to other scholars, things like that. And so the more practice we can get for our students for doing something like that, the better. And there are great options within psychology to do that in a field specific way. I know if you're in, what was your major again? Nursing. Okay, if you're in the sciences, Missouri Academy of Science also has something really similar. It's a great, we call them teaching conferences, which is like the purpose of a teaching conference is not necessarily to distribute, it's not a dissemination of information necessarily, it's more like to get students practice presenting. And I say not necessarily because like I still remember things that I learned from students who were presenting at Student Scholar Day 15 years ago, like things that inform my daily life. So it's like you're still disseminating information, you're still like you're sharing knowledge with people. It's just not specific to like your field of expertise, I guess, and other experts in. So Student Scholar Day is a place that can showcase that. I did a lot of conferences when I was an undergrad, and I think it really helps me a lot in terms of like getting confidence to be able to talk to people about my research. So I want to share just with you a little bit about, oh, and I'm sorry, the other reason I'm doing this is I used to be the director of the honors program. Are any of you in the honors program? Yeah. Okay. And I had planned on doing this. When you do honors enhancements, there's a thing that's like, would you like to attend a workshop to talk about how to prepare this for Student Scholar Day? Do you remember seeing that? So that's like, we've been meaning to offer this workshop for a while, and I'm on the honors program steering committee now, and that's like part of my role in that. Like I do this for that, but it's like the more the merrier, right? There are a few faculty members in here. Are you all on the Student Scholar Day? Are you on the Student Scholar Day committee too? That's so awesome. I'm so excited. You could probably give this. Please jump in anytime you have like a correction about anything. I haven't been for a couple years to Student Scholar Day because it overlaps with my big conference in psychology, and I'm on the program committee for that. So they make me come to that. But I still will like help people prepare. So if you decide you want to present, Kimball, you decide you want to present, and even the two of you, like I don't know anything about nursing or okay, so bad memory. I'm happy to like look over your stuff ahead of time just to see if you do want to submit something. You'll have your own faculty mentor who will submit stuff with you. For Juan and for Kimball, it's always probably does yours again. But also like if you want another pair of eyes or something like that. The goal is just to have like sort of the most like the quality of the work should be good, right? But to have the most supportive environment possible for our students, because it's intimidating the first time you like put yourself out there and you present it. I was like the first time I gave a poster, I don't even want to think about it. I was so nervous. I think I'm sure that I was like shaking. I used to have really bad public speaking anxiety. But we get out there and we do it. Okay, so I don't have presenter view on these slides, so who knows what's up next. These are the things that I'm going to talk to you about. So why would you present at Student Scholar Day? What does it look like? I have some like very concrete, this has sticky stuff on the back of it. So I have some very like tangible things you can see. Some tips for presentations, and then the rubric for the presentation. I'll go ahead and give this out to you now. This is from the Student Scholar Day Committee. So they put this all together. It is a lot of information, but it's also a very condensed version of like things that you sort of learn over years of presenting at conferences or mentoring students to present. So, and it also has sections that may not be applicable to you. So there are like guidelines for presenters in performing arts that may not apply to you, that you can skip over those sections. But there's stuff that's like, I think the committee's done a really good job of including a lot of things that are sort of, have you ever heard of hidden curriculum before? You heard that phrase? They're like the things that are like sort of part of being an academic that people never directly tell you. Like this is how you meet other people in your field, or this is what you might want to think about wearing when you go to a conference. Like that kind of stuff can be really intimidating, particularly for like first gen or people who haven't done any of this stuff before. And I think that this document is really good job, like preparing you for that hidden curriculum stuff. What will it look like? How to talk? What are the standards in different fields? So some fields, somebody, if you're giving an oral presentation in the humanities, it's normal for humanities folks to like read directly from their paper. Have you all seen that at conferences in the past? That's normal. Like if you go to a conference in the humanities, they read directly from a paper. Yeah.
I'm so I'm so into the chemistry conferences, like that would so not be okay.
It would tank. Like the type of stuff I do research in, you have to trick people into thinking it's interesting.
Yes.
You can't read directly from the paper. The humanities stuff is interesting, actually, I guess, but that's not the standard in psychology. In psychology, it is like we try to get our students not reading off of pieces of paper, and you do it for different reasons, and I can't speak to the reasons why people do that in the humanities, but I think there's good guidelines in here on like what the different expectations are in different fields. Okay, stop me at any point if you have questions. I kind of want to sell you on why you might present. I think having more experience with public speaking, this is kind of a low stakes. It can be pretty nerve-wracking the first time you do it, but it's a low stakes environment, meaning like I've never had this experience directly at a conference, but I've had friends who have been to conferences where like people will challenge their science, like in front of their poster in like a rude kind of a way. Have you ever had that experience? Yeah.
Why did you do this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like, it's a fine question if you ask it a certain way, but when you're like, this is stupid, it's like, I've never had that experience, but I also go to psychology conferences and we're like ostensibly nice to people. Yeah.
Chemistry, they're kind when they ask, but they push you.
Yeah.
So I remember in grad school, I gave a presentation, and one of the kings of carbon-carbon bond coupling reactions was like sitting there, and we were all like, my other buddy of mine, and I forget his name right now, I could see his face. And he asked me a question at the end of my presentation, and I was so concerned. And he pushed me a little bit because he noticed something within my reaction scope, and he asked a really poignant question, and I had to, on the spot, think of something. So it's a little, I think it's field dependent, and in some ways, chemistry conferences, we do that because we're trying to push science forward. And you only do that when you poke on the weak parts. So, but we never take, you're not supposed to, we try never to take it personally, because it's just about the science. That's all. It's just about the science.
Yeah.
So in some ways, it's kind of fun to hear you talk about this. We've had conversations about Student Scholar Day, trying to make sure we get enough faculty input from different areas. Because like if I run it, then I'm going to be like probably asking really hard questions, but it might not be the standard for psychology,
And hard questions I think are fine. And I want you all to understand, if somebody asks you a question when you're presenting and you don't know the answer, it's like the one thing my students always ask about, that's a really interesting question. I don't know the answer to that. Here's my email address. Can you email me your question?
Perfect response.
But it's also, I do that at conferences. It doesn't make you look like you don't know what you're talking about. Like you can, if you feel like you can kind of guess what the answer is, go for it. Like based on what I currently know, I would think that this would be the case, but like, it's totally fine. And I instead of getting their email address, I ask them to email me because, I might lose their email address and then they'll think I'm rude when really I'm just me. So, but I think that that's fine. And hard questions are fine. We at the psych teaching conferences, people do ask hard questions. They ask, but also like I have been in conferences before where people have been rude. That's never happened at a teaching conference. I've never had anybody ask a rude question, and it's good. You want to be challenge. You want to learn how to think on your feet a little bit, right? So you want to get questions that are like right up to the edge of your competence, right? So you can like push yourself a little bit further. Right up to the edge, not over it. If it's over it, not by much. Nothing that's up here, right? But you also don't want the stuff that's down here. Like, why did you study this topic? Actually, that's a question that I ask people sometimes. So maybe that's not, but it's like, you want something that makes you think. Okay. Build your resume. So I actually have, I have APA style examples of APA style references of like how I would put on my CV that I presented at this conference. And I'm happy to share those with you if you end up doing a resume or CV and you want to see how it's, I share those with my students after they present of like, this is exactly what you can put on your CV. A CV is like a long resume. You're supposed to have a short resume and eventually a long CV, right? Because your CV is your list of everything you've ever done. And mine was half a page when I was a student, and now it's like 7 pages. So it's like you accrue stuff as you go along. And then distributing knowledge. I think this is really important because like even you're not talking to other experts in your field at Student Scholar Day, but talking to other people in your field is going to be really important for you someday. So having practice on how to do that and give presentations is going to be really important. It's key to like all of the work we do as scholars, right? It's like, how do we get that knowledge to other people? And I think it is helpful for things like giving workshops, or if you will end up in a job where like you are a person who's willing to give presentations, love you. Because so many adults are terrified of presenting in front of other people. So if you get a little bit of experience and you're like, yeah, I can lead that discussion, you have it made, right? And if other people can speak to that ability. All right. So this is what poster presentations sometimes look like. For some of the disciplines, trifolds are, this is one of my favorite examples of poster research ever. Like this little kid did a science fair project on whether Tom Brady cheated in the Super Bowl. And this was years ago. This isn't, he's not on the Patriots anymore, right? Okay. I don't know these things. You may see posters that are a bit more of a trifold where there's like stuff glued on. There are some disciplines, I see that in nursing posters sometimes. This is what ours tend to look like. So we have this poster printer, which is important. I'm going to write down an email address for you later of somebody you can contact if you want your posters printed out for Student Scholar Day. You can make an appointment with our Psych GA. And you can come in and you can get your poster printed on something like this. We just ask that like you limit, like your background is not colorful because we have to pay for the ink. So the background is not colorful. So you like limit the different colored things on here. We have like little logos and stuff. So this is something one of my students presented. It's on a poster board, so foam board, because the way Student Scholar Day has it set up is on its easels, right? Sometimes when you go to conferences, there will be big bulletin boards on wheels, right? And they're like probably about this size, and you'll tack it up. They'll have like little cups with pins in them and you'll tack it up. They're very expensive and they take up a lot of room. So we, is my Zoom meeting still on? Sorry, my computer did something weird. Okay, it's still there. All right. So we ended up getting easels for ours, and you'll need something firm to put the poster up against. I also have extra 30 by 40 boards. So if you want to print something out and put it on a 30 by 40 board, I think we have like 15 of them that you can tack up against, so you don't have to buy it yourself. You can see it's been used, right? And usually this is hanging in our hallway upstairs in the psych department. That's why it has sticky stuff all over it, because we like to like brag on our students and ourselves. Me, right there, my science. I made this graph. ChatGPT helped me. Okay, so this is what it might look like. It's different in every discipline, but in our discipline, when you present research, you do like introduction. We did a replication study, so we talked about the old study we did, we replicated, and our new data. we had an extension hypothesis. You usually put your abstract on there. We put it on there really small. And then we have our references that are usually kind of small too. And you, in a conference, you stand next to it, much like this little kid is. And people, if you're presenting a poster, people will walk by and they may make extended eye contact with you. And if they do, you ask them if you want to run, if they want you to run through your poster with them. Would you like me to go over my poster with you? Sometimes they'll wander up while you're already talking to somebody else, and they'll like stand there and nod until you finish what you're saying, your spiel, and you get started again. Sometimes I've been at conferences before where I've asked people if they want me to go over my poster with them, and they're like, no, I'm just gonna read it. It's fine. All kinds of people go to conferences, so that's okay. You probably will at Student Scholar Day have at least one person asking you to run through your poster, because we have judges. So we have judges who evaluate the poster, but also evaluate like the quality of the presentation and then give you feedback on that, which is really, that's the part you want, right? I don't know, you may not want that, but it'll be helpful for you in like figuring out how to do stuff. And posters are cool, I think, because they're more one-on-one. So if I have like things I really want other people's feedback on, a good poster is a nice way to get that feedback. Usually when I go to a conference, people will kind of look, like I'll look and see which posters I want to go see. So there's a little bit of like, okay, like if there's a poster on a topic area I'm interested in going to, I'll make sure I go to it so I can ask that person questions. And like sometimes you can, like I've ended up on somebody's dissertation committee that way, because we've connected over research that we've both thought was really interesting. The other format for presenting is an oral presentation. The other big one, there's also a performance. There are performances. Nobody's in the performing arts who's here, so that I'm guessing you would be poster or oral presentation. And the oral presentation it's usually around 12 minutes long. Is that right?
Look up the time. Yeah, I say the about
10 to 12.
10,
10 to 12. Shorter is okay. Longer is not. It's weird. But you don't want to go over time. There will be people, like if you give an oral presentation, there will be people in the audience, probably one of them holding up little signs. It's like 1 minute left. You'll have a timer in front of you. Unless it's like 2 minutes long, nobody ever cares if it's short. In fact, people sometimes love it. At professional conferences, if I'm in a talk and it ends 10 minutes before it was supposed to, that's 10 minutes I have back. So don't stress about it being too short. And your faculty mentor will help prepare you and make sure you have enough to say. If you all disagree with me and you're like, you should be exactly, please.
I'll give you 3 seconds either way.
He's not serious. Okay. I like oral presentations because they're done. Well, okay, I like them for 2 reasons. If I can just be completely honest with you. Presenting a poster at a conference requires designing the poster and printing it days in advance. I tend to work on things up until the last minute. In fact, one conference I went to, I just put up a QR code that had a link to a Google Drive with my poster in it because I was working on it up until the last minute. I said it was to save paper. I know.
I love hearing that side scoop. I print the posters for us because I let my students pick lots of colors and then
Yeah.
So then
Yeah.
I'm like at friggin' Office Depot,
Yeah.
like crossing my fingers at I'm like
Yeah.
by the printer,
Yes.
because we have to have them that
Yeah.
day. Anyway,
Yeah.
I get it.
I can't, and there have been times, and then you have to, okay, here's the other thing, you have to travel if you're traveling to a
Mhm.
conference, and you have to put it in a tube. There are at least 4 tubes of mine that have been left at Chicago Midway in the past 20 years, either coming or going, usually going, which is much less tragic. But once I did leave my poster on the airplane. Do you have to go? Okay. Mad at me. It's fine. You can watch the rest of it later. So oral presentations are kind of nice because you can work on it up until the last minute and still look like you know what you're doing. Although I think the committee likes to have slides sent to them like that morning. You don't have to do it like days in advance usually. Yeah. And you do it and you're done. With the poster, you're there in front of it for 1 or 2 hours. So it's a little bit less intimidating, but it's also like if you're anxious, sometimes it's better to just get it out and then leave. The other nice thing about posters though is that it gets you lots of practice. So if you're giving a poster, like you're practicing with me, you're practicing with Dakota, you're practicing with like is Dakota okay? What do you go by?
Dakota's fine.
Okay, sorry. That's very much the vibe here. Okay, what questions do you have about oral presentation or poster? Yeah.
Is it gonna be that we have to present first in a, like, with everyone paying attention just to us, or it's gonna be in a room with different people as walking by?
So actually they can jump in and answer this too. For the posters, it's like people circulate. For the oral presentations, it's one room and everybody's looking. I mean, most of the people are looking.
But it's a very supportive environment. Everybody there is on your team.
Yeah.
Waiting for you.
Yeah.
But in fact, in general, like, let's be real. When you see someone present anything as a human, we kind of want them to succeed.
Yeah.
It's like kind of, because everyone gets uncomfortable when someone doesn't do well, so like when you present, like everybody wants you to be confident in it to go really well. It makes everything go better. So like no one's ever.
The students staring at you or just thanking God it's not that.
Yeah.
Usually.
Honestly, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Exactly.
That's
That's
all
a
we
great
need.
point.
Yeah. I have some pictures of what it looks like when people, these are just some tips for what to do with posters. This is just printed out ahead of time. This is a colleague of mine who printed out her poster, or who had her poster mailed to her at a hotel, and she ordered the wrong size. So it showed up and it was an 8.5 by 11, and she like tacked it on to the bulletin board. So print it out way ahead of time just in case there's an error. Dark background with light print. It's actually hard to read, and it also is very expensive. Try to maximize visual aids, I think. I have my students also do at least this, I think, is 18-point font is the smallest, but if you can do 24, that's better. I make good judicious use of QR codes of like if I have something stored online that they can see, they can go to that. And try not to read directly from your poster. So like try to have it practiced enough so that when people ask you if you want to or when you ask people if they want you to run your poster down for them. I'm having problems with pronouns today. You aren't like looking directly at it. It's like when people present and they look directly at their PowerPoint behind them. It's like try to have it internalized, memorized enough that you can like just talk about it and say, you can kind of point to like, well, in our study, we did this. You can kind of vaguely point to the introduction, and you can use this more as like a prop if people need more information than anything else. Okay. I love this foam board. It's just so satisfying. I don't know what it is about it. Here's another example of one I did in my lab, and I tried to I use Canva for these. I had a student in my lab for a few semesters who was really into graphic design, which was really handy because they were able to work on setting things up for me. And there are some great templates online. If you look up poster templates for a scientific presentation, you'll find all kinds of different sizes. I think it's postertemplates.com, and they're all free. This is what it looks like. These are two students who presented at Student Scholar Day. This was if you all remember the old better poster format, when people tried to have the middle part in big font to have the take-home message. This was a big thing in psychology. So this was during that era. This is a student presenting at Midwestern Psychological Association, which is what I'm missing Student Scholar Day to go to. And you can see, this was somebody that walked by that was interested in talking to him about his research. And then this is the type of easel you'll have at Student Scholar Day to prop the poster up against. And it's arranged in a room. So that's what it looks like. Here are two students. Oh, this is one student presenting at Student Scholar Day, an oral presentation. So it's in Whitfield. So he's at the stand, he's presenting this was his master's thesis. Usually if you're doing a summary of a paper, it's like a shorter version of your paper. One thing that I encourage people to do in psychology is like, it's okay to actually personalize your presentations a little bit more than your papers, I think. Like in their papers, they're not supposed to put themselves into the paper. They're not supposed to use first person or talk about like why it's important to them. That's a reflection. But we want them writing scientifically, which is not, it's not reflective. But I think it is okay for a presentation to spend a brief amount of time, less than 5% of your presentation saying like, this is why this is important to me. This is why you don't have to do it, but this is why this is interesting. Be careful what you disclose. In psychology, we tell people that a lot because you maybe don't want to tell people in a room like what diagnoses you have, right? Like think about, what you want to disclose, and when in doubt, ask your faculty mentor. Practice. I have a student every conference who's like, no, I do better when I wing it. They're always lying. They are probably lying to themselves more than anybody else. They may think they're better when they wing it. I don't think they are. I think Kelsey's probably better when she wings it.
No.
I could see you winging it.
Okay, I can wing it really well, but I always do better when I practice.
Yeah. That's the thing, is like you might do fine. These students who are like, they're also the students, I think this was me too, who's like, they're working on a paper up until the night before. They're like, I'm fine. I thrive. The thing is, there's no control group. Right? So it could be better if you do
Always
practice.
better when you practice.
Always
Like,
better.
let's be real. Just
Yeah.
because it's fine, because you wing it, doesn't mean it's gonna be better than,
Yeah.
it just is.
If for nothing else than pacing, and keep in mind that you may talk faster or slower when you are in front of people. That is something hopefully you know about do you know if you talk faster or slower in front of people? Or the same?
It depends on what I'm talking about.
Okay.
If it's something I know really well, I tend to go medium slow. But if it's something I really don't like, I just want to get over it really fast.
Okay. So if you're doing that at Student Scholar Day and you practice and you time yourself and you're like, okay, I'm 12 minutes when I practice it just with me, you may plan on being 10 minutes in front of a crowd. You just want to make sure you don't go over. It's more for people who go slower, I think. Don't spend too much time on technical details. I tell my students not to like read statistical results off of their slide because most of the people in the audience don't know, what the different statistical results are. Like you just kind of want to point out, nobody's going to read these numbers to anyone else like that. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is say like, you can kind of see this pattern in these numbers and interpret it for them. You're speaking to a general audience. And like, I know that this is kind of hard to believe, but outside of your faculty mentor, by the time you present, you will know more about your topic than anybody except them in the room, almost certainly. So let that give you a little bit of confidence. I would ask your mentor if you can practice with them. If you all want to present at Student Scholar Day, and this is for people who may be watching the video too, I'm happy to have like another one of these where people work on putting their stuff together. There's only so much help I can give to non-psych students, but I'm happy to help or to like get together to practice or anything like that if you guys want to have like a group of students or a cohort that's supportive like that. All right, questions so far? Okay.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So will it be like, so there's the oral presentations and then there's also like all the like posters. So will there be like a time where everyone's like giving their oral presentations and then like later there's like all the posters are out?
Yes. Yeah, the posters are generally sit out for a while so you can kind of see them. But usually there's a poster session time where people are wandering around and the presenters are all by their posters at that time.
Oh.
Is there just one session?
One poster session.
Yeah.
Oral presentation.
Nice. Yeah. That's kind of nice. And then like you can kind of like, if you look for other interesting poster, in poster sessions, I get distracted by other people's stuff. And I try to like abandon my poster to go look at what people are doing. This is a student presenting at a conference, not Student Scholar Day, but this was another teaching conference at Missouri State. So very large screen, to be very jealous of that screen. A couple big things on oral presentations, visual aids are really important. On your slides, please don't use complete sentences. Just bullet points on your PowerPoint slides. Use at least 24-point font. This is a huge pet peeve for people who go to conferences. If there's a microphone, always use a microphone. Don't make a joke about how you can project and everybody can hear you anyway. Just use the microphone. There are maybe people in the audience who require it. So just be aware of that. It sounds weird. It feels weird. You adjust to it really quickly. Questions about this? I asked you questions last time and I just kept going. I'm fueled by caffeine today. Okay, so there's a handout on presenting. I think that's sort of the last thing on here. And this is information for you to have to look through what it's like to speak academically. We're not going to go over this in detail, but it's just to have, for your reference. And also, if you lose it, you can email me, you can email Dakota. Dakota's the one who sent it to me, and it'll get sent out to everybody who's participating in students already. So, all right. Now the rest of the time is questions. Questions, advice, whatever you have. Yeah.
For like the posters, how would you format it if you don't because I did I designed a lab and did that without results, but I don't actually have graphs or something of what I did.
That's okay. You don't have to have graphs. So you did empirical work. You did research, you'll have an introduction, method, results, discussion maybe. So did you write a paper?
Yeah.
That makes it a little bit easier. So take each of the big sections of your paper and make a box for each one. I'm not taking these sticky things off. They're very expensive. So it's going to go right back on the wall. Make a box for each one and you can format it. It could be 4 boxes. It could be 6. Just format it in the order of your paper. But I would be careful not to just copy and paste stuff from your paper, because you want bullet points. You want ideas. It should be outline format. There are some good templates online as well. And I love looking at examples that people have done. So scientific poster templates. I think it's Poster Nerd that I usually go to. And these are all downloadable and they're free. I think our foam board is 30 by 40. So I don't have any that fit exactly that, but Rational Rouge, let's click on that. You open it up and you'll see, well, oh no, I didn't need to do that.
No, it'll make you have to go sign in and yeah.
Really?
Yeah, each computer, you have to, isn't that wild?
Why I have my own computer. I just don't have a dongle. Oh my God, I don't know my own username.
This one might be that's exactly what I sound like. While you're doing that, I thought I'd bring a couple more.
Yes, thank you. I saw you walk in the door with those.
Yeah, and this one, here, I'll do it so we can. Oh, your computer is a bit different. Oh, hey, it is. Cool. So this one is really more literature. And so there isn't research that was collected data on it, but you'll see introduction and then the objectives, the questions we were looking at. And then there's a list of literature sources, and this is results of what was found. And then these boxes are more of the bulk of your paper, and then a conclusion, kind of what you can walk away with. And so I think about, it's kind of just what she said about, it's the process of the paper. You have you have an intro, why it's important, what you found, and then the conclusion drawn from that information. And that process is the same for research as well.
And so this is a research poster. So there's like some of the data, the results are actually data that were collected rather than just researched. So I don't know if that helps you with like a visual kind of to see stuff. And you can, your faculty mentor, whoever helps you prepare your poster, will also probably have their own ideas how it should be set up. If you're ever in doubt and you just want, you're like, I have this question and I'm too afraid to ask, I'm happy for you to send it to me. And if I don't know the answer, I'll track it down for you. So if you're like, I don't know what goes here, just send me a screenshot. This is my email address. I live for this stuff. So, you know, send it to me and I'll give you what I think, or I may ask a nursing faculty, or, you know, I'll look to see, I'll give you the best answer I can give you. And there may be people who are giving non-empirical posters too. So here's an example of a template you might see. There are a lot of different templates online where you can just like kind of edit them. I like doing them from scratch because I feel like it's like my zen. I don't know how to describe it. This is the email address for our GA. So this is psychga01@avila.edu. I don't know if you can see that from there. His name is Josh, and he is in the department Monday through Thursday, from around 12:30 to 5:30. He won't be there during spring break, but I don't think you'll be doing your poster then. Student Scholar Day is April 16th. If you decide you want to do a poster, and this is both for you, for anybody who's watching, if you all have conferences you're going to and you want like a poster printed out, just let me know. It's not a secret. It's just, you know, it's for conferences, right? Make an appointment with him at least a few days before. So I'd say the week before. So this is a Friday. So you would want to go in somewhere between April 5th to the 9th to get your poster printed out, just in case there's a problem and you have to come back. Okay, so just email him and find a time he's going to be there to print out the poster. The other big thing I think is writing an abstract. So as part of your submission, you want to write an abstract, right? Is it like a certain number of characters or words?
There's a maximum. That's a good question.
Yeah, so when you do your submission, you'll have to write an abstract, which is like a short version of your work for people to evaluate it. And for people, really the function is for people to like look at it in a program and decide if they want to go see it. And it's just part of like learning how to summarize your stuff succinctly. The committee usually has some questions. They have different, depending on who's on the committee, they may have different opinions about what corrections you should or shouldn't make. So for example, I had an acronym in one of my poster titles a few years ago, and they wanted me to take the acronym out and spell it all out. And then it became too long. So we had to be like kind of creative and find a way around that. So just expect that, like if you submit something, expect that you'll get some questions back, or your faculty mentor will get some questions back where they may ask you to make some corrections. Okay. Normally that's not how it works at conferences. People usually either kind of accept it or reject it, but because it's a teaching conference, like, you know, the goal is to kind of get you more familiar with how to do this stuff. Right. Yeah. Those are like all the big things I want. It's a lot of information.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
You can elaborate on this.
Yeah.
How can you talk on the topic of taking an honors enhancement and turning it into something for Student Scholar Day?
Yeah.
And the reason I'm asking this is because most of the students I've had that, you know, present at Student Scholar Day, like it's quite a bit of work to collect research and to, you know, really put a good story together to share.
Yeah.
And with honors enhancement, it's just such a small addition to the class. And I'm curious if you have thoughts about that, or like creative ways to, you know, or do you do students that go to Student Scholar then put extra work in with the honors enhancement to
Yeah.
get there?
So one of my students, like their whole enhancement was presenting at Student Scholar Day or another conference. Like that was what they did because they've never presented before. And so they did a lot of reading. It was 1 credit hour's worth of work, but they did a lot of reading on like what it's like to present at a conference. Was that the question? That was not the question.
No, like, taking an honors enhancement.
And turning it
that-
into a presentation.
Turning it into something that is big enough for Student Scholar Day. So I find that honors enhancements are, they're small, small
Yeah.
additional projects to classes.
Yes. In that case, and I've had students do this before, what I would recommend is doing like sort of like a meta presentation where like instead of this is my data, this is like if it's not enough, talking a little bit about what you did for your honors enhancement, like these are the people I talked to. I mean, you probably could like talk about the readings you did with your faculty mentor, and whatever products did come out of it, and spend a little bit more time talking about like what your process was of doing the enhancement. I just forgot the word for enhancement. So sorry. Normally if you go to conferences, they want a very specific type of presentation, but I think something like that would be okay at Student Scholar Day, wouldn't it? Maybe?
I mean, I'm curious. You've been in the committee around it longer than I have. So it's kind of curious. I mean, we've seen both literature reviews and research, both have been presented.
I've seen people present on like kinesiology students who are pre-OT talk about their OT internship and the types of work they did there. I've encouraged psych students to do the same. So they have to do, some of our psych students do practicum placements where they go out and they work in the community and they like reflect on it and they write about it and they talk about things they learned. So there have been people who have presented something like that as well. I think something like that would be fine. Research proposals sometimes can be like, here's what I did, here's what I would do for a study if I were to do a study. Really, I think I'm able to, if anybody's watching this who isn't sort of in the sciences, I can speak to that a little bit more easily because like to what you all might do because you're in the sciences. That's like a good conversation I think to have with your faculty mentor. Just start from the place of like, I want to present, I want to get out there. What can I present? How do you think I could present the work I did for my honors enhancement? And they can bounce ideas off of me too. And I can, check back with the committee and see what will fly. Just double check and make sure. But do you think something like that would fly with the committee? Okay. Yeah. Do you have something in mind that you're thinking of? Oh, like I've had people put together like labs before, like they've worked with Lindsay to put together, like, here's an activity I'm going to have students do. They could talk about that activity. Like, here are the goals of the activity. This is what I did. This is my process of developing it. And this is the product. And then they show up. We had people, we had somebody come and present I'm not using words, but they did the set design for a play and they brought in like the portfolio of like all the stuff they put together to do that. And it was like, it wasn't even really a poster. It was like a book full of stuff. And then the poster was like a picture that they printed out next to it just to have it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
To answer our question from earlier, 9 to 11 minutes for the performances or the oral presentation.
Okay.
2 to 3 minutes for the poster with, a couple minutes of questions and answers. The title needs to be no more than 75 characters, and the abstract is also 1,500 or less characters, not words.
Yeah.
That's a consideration for when we make the program.
Yeah.
Make sure it looks nice.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I think the title one was like we were doing a replication of this study that had like 90 like 7 authors or something like that. And we said replication of Neil et al. And I think we just took that off and did like replication of like learning styles. No, that was a different one. No, we did for this one, we did Nanskable et al. I think we just wrote you back and we were like, no, that's how people say that. That's how people say it when they present. Does that sound familiar?
Wait,
Okay. Because that's the title. Yeah, this one was actually at Student Scholar Day. I have to go to Academic Affairs Council. It starts at 3. So I have to book it. I'm sorry. Do you have like one last question I can answer before I leave? Yeah.
Do you know like how long, like what's like the time frame, like when it starts, when it ends roughly?
yeah, so we start the poster session in the morning. I think last year we actually started it at noon.
Yeah, I
And then
think,
at 2, we had the oral presentations, that the award ceremony lasted another couple hours. So last year, it was only noon to 4 was the whole thing. Yeah.
And the poster session was 2 hours.
I think around maybe an hour and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and so then you stand by your poster for like an hour and a half, and then people come by and ask questions, and then when you get judged on it, you'll see that the judges will be writing some things down, between posters, and they'll come ask you questions. And the way we kind of frame it is, and I don't know how it is in psychology, but like in chemistry, when we give posters, when someone comes up to your poster, you don't just let them read the poster, interact and say, hey, would you like to hear about my project? Yeah, and then 3 minutes of like, you don't tell them everything on the poster, but you kind of got them through what you did, and then you just sit there to answer questions if they have them. So does that answer your question? Yeah, so it usually starts at noon. And then most classes here, like pretty much all classes are aware of like Student Scholar Days, so we send out emails to let everyone know. So if you have to like miss a class in order to come do this, that's like pretty standard practice. Everyone is aware.
Yeah.
So
We've had more problems with people skipping sports. Because people will be, it'll be the same day as like some tournament somewhere, and people won't want to sign up for Student Scholar Day. And in that case, as faculty mentor, I usually call the coach. Sometimes it's like I have to explain to them like this is sort of a once a year opportunity for them, and they need to be building their resume for it's up to the student, right? If the student would rather do the tournament, go do the tournament. But sometimes it takes a little bit of education with the coach just to say like, because they don't realize that these are things that they can't just pick when they go to, right? So, and that this is really like building their future. Yeah, especially if you want to go to a graduate program, like you just need to have. So okay, so what year are you?
So it's like second year, technically.
If I had to like pick a path forward for both of you, I would say like poster first year, oral presentation second year. But do it because you could do one each year, especially if you have honors enhancements. But like pick one that you're like is like you can ease into it, and then do the other one the next year. Get one of each. Collect them like Pokemon. Build that CV. Okay, I'm signing out. Bye.
Bye, Dr. Waggy. Thank you. Very
Bye.
informative. Glad you're feeling better.
Welcome. Thank you.
Bye.